Welcome back to Movies on the Brain, where we dive deep into films that challenge the boundaries of humanity and technology. I'm Jason, and today I'm exploring the visually stunning and thought-provoking world of The Creator. Directed by Gareth Edwards, The Creator takes us into a near-future world where the line between humans and AI has become dangerously blurred. Starring John David Washington, Gemma Chan, and Allison Janney, this film explores the complexities of artificial intelligence, warfare, and what it means to be human. In The Creator, we're taken on an emotional journey where survival and empathy clash in a world at the brink of transformation. Let's dive into the sci-fi epic and see how it resonates with our own questions about humanity and the future. The Creator opened in theaters on September 29th, 2023 with a budget of $80 million. During its 8-week theatrical run, it earned $40.7 million domestically and $63.4 million internationally, making a worldwide total of $104.2 million. Its opening weekend saw it earn $14 million, finishing number 3 in the box office, behind only Paw Patrol the Mighty Movie and Saw X number 1 and 2 respectively, which both also opened the same weekend. Its final week in theaters saw it earn $51,032, finishing its box office run at number 24. In 2055, an artificial intelligence created by the U.S. government detonates a nuclear warhead over Los Angeles, California. In response, most of the Western world pledges to eradicate AI to prevent humanity's extinction. Their efforts are resisted by New Asia, a region comprising East, South, and Southeast Asia, whose people continue to embrace AI. The U.S. military aims to assassinate Nirmata, the chief architect behind New Asia's AI advancements, using the USS Nomad, better known as the North American Orbital Mobile Aerospace Defense, a space station capable of launching destructive attacks from orbit. A decade after Los Angeles, U.S. Army Sergeant Joshua Taylor is undercover in New Asia with his pregnant wife Maya, believed to be the daughter of Nirmata. Taylor is exposed when their home is attacked, and Maya is presumed dead after a nomad strike. 5 years later, Taylor, now part of the Ground Zero cleanup crew, is recruited by General Andrews and Colonel Howell for a mission against Alpha O, a new weapon developed by Nirmata that could destroy Nomad. Showing evidence of Maya's survival, Taylor agrees. Infiltrating a compound in New Asia, Taylor finds the weapon is a robotic simulant in the form of a young girl who has the ability to control technology. Dubbing herself Alfie, Taylor disobeys Howell and seeks out his ex-commander, Drew. Drew declares Alfie could be humanity's most powerful weapon. After an attack kills Drew's simulant girlfriend and leaves Drew fatally wounded, Taylor learns Maya is Nirmata. Taylor and Alfie are captured by New Asian forces led by Harun, a simulant soldier and a former ally of Taylor's. Harun states that the detonation in Los Angeles was a human error blamed on AI, who only wished to peacefully coexist with humanity. After escaping his captors, Taylor rescues Alfie as Howell launches an attack on the village. Taylor learns that Maya is in a coma. Since simulants cannot harm Nirmata, she is stranded and unable to die. Alfie was modeled after their unborn daughter. As Taylor takes Maya off life support, U.S. forces led by Howell arrive. They are killed by Harun, who tells Taylor Nomad must be destroyed for the war to end. Captured again, Taylor is coerced into killing Alfie with an electroshock weapon. However, Andrews later discovers this to be a ruse, allowing the pair to escape. Boarding a lunar shuttle at the Los Angeles Interplanetary Air and Spaceport, Alfie forces the spacecraft to land aboard Nomad as Andrew orders a large-scale assault on remaining AI bases. As Taylor plants explosives, Andrews activates a robot to prevent him from escaping. Taylor is forced to eject an escape pod with Alfie in it. As Alfie arrives safely on Earth, Taylor reunites with a simulant bearing Maya's likeness, activated by Alfie with Maya's memories, and they embrace as Nomad explodes, killing Taylor and destroying Maya. As Alfie exits the escape pod, she is welcomed by the AI population as the new Nirmata. Now let's look at the cast and some of their other roles they've had. John David Washington as Sergeant Joshua Taylor. Other roles for John David Washington include the protagonist in Tenet, Ron Stallworth in Black Klansman, and Ricky Jarrett in the TV show Ballers. Madeleine Yuna Voyles as Alfie. This has been Madeleine Yuna Voyles' only role so far. Gemma Chan as Maya Fey and or Nirmata. Other roles for Gemma Chan include Natsuko in The Boy and the Heron, Shelley in Don't Worry Darling, and Quintessa in Transformers The Last Night. Allison Janney as Colonel Howell. Other roles for Allison Janney include Bonnie Plunkett in the TV show Mom, Dr. Brooks in Ma, and Lavana in I, Tonya. Ken Watanabe as Harun. Other roles for Ken Watanabe include Katsumoto in The Last Samurai, Dr. Ishiro Suzawa in the 2014's Godzilla, and Saito in Inception. Sturgill Simpson as Drew. Other roles for Sturgill Simpson include Vanilla Nice in The Hunt, Henry Grammer in Killers of the Flower Moon, and Ken Fry in the TV show $1. Amara Chadha Patel as Omni, Sagon, or Sergeant Bowie. Other roles for Amara Chadha Patel include Thraxus Borman in the TV show Willow, Stretch in Dashcam, and a mounted palace guard in 2019's Aladdin. Mark Menchaca as McBride. Other roles for Mark Menchaca include Russ Langmore in the TV show Ozark, Red in No One Gets Out Alive, and Jay in Every Time I Die. Robbie Tan as Shipley. Other roles for Robbie Tan include Billy Ross in the TV show Mayor of Easttown, John in Fugitive Dreams, and Kyle in Hedgehog. Ralph Ensign as General Andrews. Other roles for Ralph Ensign include William in The Witch, Father Brennan in The First Omen, and Asmodeus in The Pope's Exorcist. Michael Esper as Cotton. Other roles for Michael Esper include Officer Johnson in Beau is Afraid, Adam Rain in the TV show Ray Donovan, and Gil in Loggerheads. Veronica Ngo as Cammy. Other roles for Veronica Ngo include Jacqueline in Furies, Tien in Bright, and Kai in the Bitcoin Heist. Mackenzie Lansing as Harrison. Other roles for Mackenzie Lansing include Coral in The Hunger Games, The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, Nina in All's Well in New York, and Jamie in the TV show The Deuce. You know, was the movie that started it all of me not seeing any trailers before it was released. But I did see the poster and I saw that John David Washington and Ken Watanabe were in it. And just from the poster, I knew I had to see it. I really had a good time with it. I had just as good a time rewatching it for this review as I did the first time. And I just wasn't as confused on the rewatch, which that's normal. But I digress. Gareth Edwards absolutely crushed it as the director on this, and everyone involved was great as well. I do like that they separated it by chapters in this. It gave a different feel to the movie and the setting it's in. John David Washington is definitely the son of Denzel Washington, and he's going to go on to do great things in Hollywood. You know, I'm really not upset that it lost the Academy Awards it was nominated for. I'm glad it was nominated for Best Visual Effects and Best Sound. And as far as Best Sound Visual Effects, it lost to the right one, that being Godzilla Minus One, which absolutely deserved to win for Best Visual Effects. I can't say if the right one won for Best Sound because I've only seen this one out of the other nominees. Honestly, I feel like the movie had such a unique concept and an even better plot twist when you don't see it coming. Sturgill Simpson was absolutely phenomenal in his role as Drew, and Madeleine Yuna Voyles absolutely crushes it as one of the main characters, especially with this being her first role. I'm definitely going to be keeping an eye on movies she's in. I do like that they humanize Colonel Howell near the beginning, only for you to not care about her about 20 or so minutes later. There's so many things I think this movie got right, from the special effects to the casting to the lack of music throughout, and the script I think was great as well. Now let's look at some fun facts and trivia about this movie. After seeing hundreds of kids from around the world who sent in audition tapes for to the open casting for Alfie during the pandemic, Gareth Edwards met with Madeleine Yuna Voyles. At her in-person audition, he said, "We're just trying not to cry. We were just trying not to cry. It was so emotional and brilliant. And I just thought, okay, this is too good to be true." And I got paranoid that it was a one-off thing and that it would never happen again. To challenge the young performer, I invented this other scene and she did something even more heart-grabbing. And I was just like, okay, this is it. This is our kid. On September 19th, 2023, Edwards revealed that he initially planned on having a company specializing in AI-generated music replicate Zimmer's style of music. Although the process gave him satisfying results, Edwards instead chose Zimmer to originally score the film. The soundtrack was digitally released by Hollywood Records on September 29th, 2023. Gareth Edwards left the most emotional scenes until the end so Madeleine Voyles could build a strong relationship with John David Washington. Madeleine's a very shy, quiet girl, Edwards said. "It's really hard to become her friend. I tried the entire movie, and I think she let me in a little bit, but not fully. But John David cracked the code and became like a big brother to her and her best friend. The two were inseparable," Edwards said. After wrapping a take, when Washington would walk off set looking for some quiet time alone, trying to keep in that headspace before you do the next take, Voyles would simply run after him, hold his hand, and start talking about a toy she really likes. And he's such a sweetheart, he'd go down to her level and start getting really excited about what she was saying. Benedict Wong was originally cast but had to drop out due to scheduling conflicts. He was replaced by Ken Watanabe. The production visited 8 different countries where they handpicked each location based on the scenery and the script needs. We cherry-picked the volcanoes of Indonesia, Buddhist temples in the Himalayas, ruins of Cambodia, and floating villages, Edwards said, listing just a few of the film's many stunning locales. Filming began in Thailand on January 17th, 2022. Principal photography on the film wrapped on March 30th, 2022. Approximately 1 hour, 45 minutes in, the story takes us to an airport. One of the destinations on the departure board is Scarif, a nod to Gareth's earlier work, Rogue One. And that's a wrap on my review of The Creator. This film offers a visually breathtaking and deeply thought-provoking look at the intersection of humanity and AI, raising questions that linger long after the credits roll. If you enjoyed this review, make sure to like and subscribe to Movies on the Brain for more deep dives into sci-fi and thought-provoking films. I'd love to hear what your thoughts on The Creator. Did it make you reconsider what defines humanity? Let me know in the comments. Thanks for watching, and until next time, remember, the future is closer than we think, and it's always worth exploring.